This gospel reminds me actually of some of my experiences growing up. My parents were always sure to say to us, if you ever want to invite someone home for you for dinner, that's certainly okay with us. We just need a little advance notice. However, as kids, we sometimes would forget and simply show up with one of our friends to say, gee, Joe is going to join us for dinner tonight. My mother would give us the usual roll of her eyes and exasperated look and say, that's fine. And then we'd see her rushing to the stove to start to cut up some more potatoes or slip some more peas into the stew or whatever it is we're eating. She'd figure out a way to make sure that we had food. On the more dire moments, when she didn't have any time at all, what we would hear as she was delivering the food to us would be family go light, and we would allow our guests to have as much as they want. This morning's gospel reminds us something about Jesus, that he was always ready to fill us up. Right behind me is a big field that Salem uses sometimes for 4th of July concerts, and there's always about 5,000 people. It's completely packed, and yet Jesus was able to take just a couple of loaves, 5 loaves, and a couple of fish, and produce an extraordinary meal for everybody. It reminds us that of who Jesus is and what he can do for all of us, and that even with the most meager things we bring to Jesus, by building his grace on top of that small thing, small effort of ours, we can produce extraordinary things. And so this miracle of the feeding of the 5,000 is also a miracle about all of us, that Jesus says to each one of us, I will use whatever you give to me, and with my grace allow you to do extraordinary things. It also, this gospel reminds us finally too that of how we address problems. Jesus addresses the problem by saying, what little do you have and how can we make the most out of it? Whereas some of us as human beings sometimes say, oh, we can't do anything. Jesus never says that. And that is, I think, the mark of a good disciple. Regardless of who we are, what we have or don't have, Jesus says to all of us, I will use all that you give to me, all who come to me, and I will help to produce from them something extraordinary and great. And that's exactly what we're doing here at our parish, using all of the gifts of all of the people here in our parish to produce something great in imitation of Jesus. We might ask ourselves, how can I do that too? And how can I make it so that I can make an abundance of things come from even the smallest gifts that I have? And may God bless you in this weekend.